What is going on, everybody? It is Big L here, and today I'm bringing you our Week 6 battle against Coach Qwade and his Farmland Farfetch. His team and on my team are both. Gosh dang it, I am got cords everywhere. Both of our teams that we brought for the week are in front of you. I'll go over his whole team real quick. His types are Poison and Flying. Really scary type combination. His team consists of Galarian Slowking, Landorus Therian, Corviknight, Toxtricity, Reverum, Enamorus Incarnate, Glamora, Emolga, Iron Jugulus, Mega Pinsir, and the Sneasler. So at team preview, the first thing I thought was I was a little surprised to see the Toxtricity. I didn't think it would come at all. I didn't really see what it did to my team. I thought the Glow King would come. But as you'll see in the interview afterwards, Hal had really good reasons to not bring it. Because yeah, it was a slow pivot, but it would still have to eat earthquakes and stuff like that. But as you can see, the team I brought this week is Nidoqueen, Piloswine, Iron Treads, Garchomp, Grimmsnarl, and Palossand. Palossand is making his debut for the season. If you know me, you know I've used Palossand in the past before. Really liked it. So whenever I saw team preview, the first thing I thought was Corviknight's really scary. I don't have any way to hit it with super effective stab, so that's really scary. But we have some tech on this team to kind of help deal with it. But my designated lead for this game was the Piloswine. I'm oblivious, so if he does lead the Landorus, I don't get intimidated. I can get a big Ice Shard off. So, and like, there's nothing. I can live a hit from Sneasler. I live a close combat from Sneasler. Nothing on his team can OHKO me. And depending on what he leads, I can go for like Stealth Rocks, Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, Earthquake, whatever I want to go for, really. So my designated lead for the game, like I said, is Piloswine. And that's what we do, as he does lead the Landorus Therian. And you see that he sees immediately that we are oblivious. I didn't see any reason to bring Thick Fat. He doesn't have any Fire or Ice Stab on his team. I didn't really see a reason to bring it, but Oblivious was for a situation just like this, where he leads the Landorus into my Piloswine. I just decided I'm going to go ahead and go for an Ice Shard here. I could have gotten Stealth Rocks up, but I didn't really see too much value in Rocks. I didn't really need damage on things like the Enamorus. Now looking back, damage on maybe the Mega Pinsir would have been nice, because we know it can't be boots. But I decided to go ahead and go for the Ice Shard and just take damage on something. As he goes into the Corviknight, we go for the Ice Shard, do very little. So here I go ahead, I decide I'm going to go ahead and go into my main counter to this, which is the Palossand Howl, making his first appearance of the season. As the Corviknight goes for the bulk up, this set is something that we really prepared for, we were really worried about. But we were prepared for it. So I'm clicking, so here I'm going for the Gravity. As he goes for another bulk up, I go for Gravity. So now he is on the ground. As a Steel type, I can hit him with super effective ground stab. He goes for the Iron Head. It does 35, it does a lot more than I wanted it to, but I go for the Scorching Sands, and that does less than I was expecting. That tells me this thing is full Spadef. But again, we expected this kind of a set on the Corviknight this week here in prep. So we have things to help deal with it. So we go for the Scorching Sands. We do a good little chunk to it, and we snag the burn right off the bat, which is huge. It gives us a lot of opportunity. It makes us more free to just keep going for Scorching Sands instead of having to go for things like Shore Up. So here, I'm going to go ahead and go for another Scorching Sands. I see no reason to go for anything else. I see Roosts. That's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly willing to stall out his Roosts at this point in time. I know he can't really do too much to me, especially now that he's burned. So I'm free to just, keep going for Scorching Sands, keep going for damage, fish for crits. He's burned, so we're mitigating his leftovers recovery. And like I said, I'm content to sit here and stall out his Roosts, basically. So he goes for another bulk up, which is 100% understandable. I go for another Scorching Sands. We get a crit, and we almost get the knockout. We bring him down really close to dying to burn. But it's unfortunate that Leftovers goes first. He goes for Roost. We go for another Scorching Sands. I see no reason not to. And we get another crit, which is really unfortunate for him because this means he can't go for bulk ups. Like he has to keep going for Roosts. But I believe this is the last turn. Gravity. Yep, I go ahead and go for another Gravity here. And as he goes for the Roost, and here I just keep going for Scorching Sands. I'm content to run this. And here again, I'm back up to 100%. Never had to click a single shore up. As I go out to Nidoqueen here because I predict him to go for the Roost. And I wanted to be able to click Stab Earth Power to try to put more pressure on this Corviknight. So he goes for the Roost. He's down to about 85%. As we go for this Stab Earth Power, this I believe this was a roll to kill, heavily in his favor, but I believe it was a roll to kill. And he goes for the Iron Head. It does very little less because he's burned. And here I go ahead and go for another Earth Power. The pincer coming in here is unfortunate. We do a really nice chunk to it. Again, wish we could have had some rocks up turn one, but it is what it is. So here I switch out as Gravity ends. I go out into Piloswine as he Mega Evolves. It goes for the knockoff, which is unfortunate. But here we just go ahead and go for the Ice Shard as he brings in the Corviknight, and the Corviknight goes down. So Palisand right there has done its job. Palisand was here for the Corviknight, and yeah, so that was really, really, really cool. We were glad to see that demon go down, especially so early in the game. So he goes out into the Sneasler, which I think to myself, here's a pretty big point in the game. I didn't really have a good switch into this because I don't have my Eviolite anymore. If he goes for a close combat, then obviously Palisand is a good switch. Palisand is a good switch into this. But I can't let him get a free Swords Dance off if he does have the Throat Chop, so I think I stay in and go for the Ice Shard to pop him. Like, I could not let him get a Swords Dance off for free. I couldn't let him get a Swords Dance off and keep his balloon. Couldn't let him do that. As valuable as Piloswine is to this game, I mean, you look at his team, super effective Ice Shard, super effective Ice Shard, super effective Ice Shard. But if Sneasler gets a free Swords Dance off and keeps its balloon, I could just lose the game. So I go ahead, get a clean 24% off as he goes for the U-turn. You'll hear why that play got made in the post-game interview. But at this point, I was like, oh, maybe he's not unburdened. Maybe he's Poison Touch, because pressure didn't drop whenever he came in. So I was like, maybe he's Poison Touch. Try to get, snag a sneaky poison on something like a Garchomp or Piloswine. But, no one burden is really, really nice for me. It lets me know that if I can get Iron Treads to +1, I can speed it. So he goes out into the Toxtricity, and here again, I'm thinking, what does this thing want to do? I don't know what set this is. So I go ahead and go out into Palisand. There's nothing this thing can do that can touch Palisand. I quad resist poison. I'm immune to electric. If he's Boom Burst, I'm immune to that too. I'm free to just come in. He goes for the Sludge Wave. It does very, very little. He doesn't get the poison. I predict him to switch out here. I believe I go for Nightshade here. I go for a Nightshade here. We get a nice little chunk off onto the Pinsir, and I think I just go for another Nightshade here because I see that he can't kill me. So getting rid of this thing was another huge get. So that thing's a problem. Mega Pinsir is a problem. Stab, quick attack, stab, return with an Aerialate. Flying, I don't really switch into flying super well, but so getting rid of that thing was nice. And honestly, with Hal not getting the kill on Corviknight, it was good to see Palisand get a kill on something. Because I like to try to get everything on my team a kill in the season. So here, he goes out into the Landorus. I stay in. I'm like, I don't really switch into this thing super well. Hal, you did your job. Definitely did your job. Corviknight and Pinsir are both gone. Now, yeah, it would have been nice to keep Palisand around for the Sneasler and for the Toxtricity, but I felt like I have other answers to that. Like I said, Sneasler, I can Thunderwave. Toxtricity, I can switch into Iron Treads comes in on that. I'm not really worried about the toxicity. I go out into Grimmsnarl here. I thought really hard about this play, what to go into. I just decided to go ahead and get a Reflect up. He brings the toxicity out. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I didn't really see what this thing couldn't kill me, especially with the light screen up. So I go for the light screen. As he goes for the Boom Burst, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Boom Burst is 100% fine with me. I go ahead and go out into Iron Treads. I know that, especially with a light screen up, a Boom Burst is going to do very, very little to me. And here I'm like, okay, there's no way he stays in. I just kill you with Earthquake. You die instantly to Earthquake. Same with Sneasler, you just die to Earthquake. So I'm like, he's probably gonna bring in one of his ice type, his flying type here. So I'm gonna go ahead and click Ice Spinner, and we catch the Landorus coming in. We get the Ice Spinner off. We do big damage, even through the Intimidate. We do big damage. And now I know that no matter what set he is, with a Reflect up, he can't kill me here. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go for game. I'm gonna go for a Rapid Spin on this turn. He switches out into the Toxicity, which I found very strange. We go for the Rapid Spin. We get the +1 speed. We now outspeed everything on his team with Reflect and Light Screen up for 4 and 5 more turns, respectively. We're in position to just sweep the game with Iron Treads yet again. Iron Treads, we go for Earthquake because I outspeed. I'm not worried about the Landorus coming in. We can Ice Spinner that. I'm not worried about an Amorous coming in. We outspeed. We have Iron Head for it. We go ahead and go for the Earthquake. We take out the Toxicity. He goes out into the Sneasler. We go for the Earthquake. We take it out. And he goes out into the Enamorous. We go for the Iron Head here. We do a really big chunk of damage as he goes for the Superpower. That does very little through our Reflect. He gets the boosts. Those boosts don't matter. We go for the Iron Head. We kill the Enamorous. He goes out into the Landorus. Gets an Intimidate off, but it's okay. It's a little too late. We go for the Ice Spinner, and we take out the Landorus, giving us a 5-0 win. GG to Qwade. This game was actually a lot closer than a 5-0. My Piloswine was really weakened, and we got those couple crits, and getting that burn immediately on the Corviknight Scorching Sands made that interaction a lot less tricky for me and a lot simpler for me to play around. It put me in a position where my Palossand could just keep clicking Scorching Sands to stall out his roosts, and really put him on the ball, having to try to make plays. So it really put me in a winning position early. That early burn did. But other than that, I think we played really, really well. Yet again, I feel like this team plays super well. I love how this team feels whenever we're playing with it. Iron Treads again shows that it's just an absolute monster. The quote-unquote lesser of the two Dawn fan or the Paradox Mons showing out. This is 2 weeks in a row to 2 out of 3. 2 weeks in a row, I think. No, 2 out of 3 weeks. P4U was 2 weeks ago. 2 out of 3 weeks. This thing just put on a show. And yeah, GG to Qwade yet again. And we will see you in 1 second in the post-game interview. See you in a second. What is going on, everybody? It is Big L here. And today we just finished our week 6 battle against Qwade. And we're just after the game. Yeah. So how did prep go for you this week?
It was all right. I think the problem was I prepped like too early and then forgot what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Because obviously I forgot that I had the unburdened balloon sneezer. Like that was the whole point of doing it. So instead of just kind of messing around, I think if I just like click Swords Dance, then that makes the rest of that battle hopefully a lot easier for me.
Yeah, that was the whole reason I clicked Ice Shard there, because I was like, I cannot let him get a free Swords Dance off here. I was like, if he close combats and kills me, then that's fine. I took his balloon. I could come in and revenge him with one of my ground types. But I was like, I could not let you get a free Swords Dance off there. And you're still on your balloon. I can't hit you with a ground type. But yeah, that was the whole. But like, whenever your turn, I was really surprised. I was like, oh, maybe he's Poison Touch. which I was like, I mean, I guess he could have seen that as a viable strategy this week. I mean, I ran Poison Touch Ditto Queen a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I honestly I really didn't think you were gonna stay in because it was like too risky to like stay in at that point. That really
Right.
kind of I was like, okay, he's obviously gonna switch to like Palisand, and then I've wasted my attack, and then maybe I Swords Dance later or whatever. But if I had remembered that I was unburdened, I just Swords Dance there, and then I clean up the pile of swine and probably do a tremendous amount of damage on something else.
Yeah, no throat chop because I don't know what Palisand was at that point. 'Cause I mean, I would have been wary about bringing it in, but like at that point, I was like, yeah, it's kind of done its job. Like Corviknight's gone. That was kind of the whole reason it was here. Um, but
Yeah, yeah, I didn't have throw chop. I mean, you wouldn't have known that, but that was part of the problem too. Is I didn't have a good answer to the Palisand necessarily outside of my pincer.
yeah, I was surprised at how like whenever I I thought maybe the pincer might come in prep, um, but today I was really surprised at how much it did to Palisand. I was like, I'm pretty fat. Like I was really surprised like how much it did. But
This is a big boy.
yeah,
What's the base
but
attacks? 120, 130, something like that,
yeah,
with knockoff.
and
Yes.
Aerial 8, so one of the good type changing abilities.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it doesn't affect knockoff, but that was also a consideration too.
But yeah, like return. I was calculating return, and like return did a fuck ton. But yeah, I was surprised. I was ready for Corviknight. I was ready for Enamorous. Oh, you were choice band Landorus. Okay.
On
Reflect.
Enamorous? No,
Oh no, on Landorus. You were choice band Landorus.
Oh, yes.
I didn't.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
that might not have been the right call. I don't know.
I mean, ground is pretty spammable against my team. I mean, I don't really have a lot of for a ground team. I don't have a lot of resistances to it. So like ground is pretty spammable against me. I don't blame you.
Yeah, that was the thought, I think. Um, just didn't pan out really.
Yeah, I was worried. I was worried you might be Yachi. That's why I was like, whenever you clicking, I think that's why I switched Pilus Wine out later in the game on it. I was like, do I want to just take damage here? I was like, but if I'm Yachi, if he's Yachi, I don't really do a whole lot to him. But I think that was the turn you sacked Corviknight, maybe, because I was like,
Yeah,
I
I could have.
I was like, I kind of wanted to. Like, I guess if he is Yachi, I just want him to eat it here, and I can just be done with it. Pilus Wine just dies, and that's fine, I guess. But I'm so glad
Yeah, it was.
Palisand got to work.
It did. Yeah, again, that if you don't get the burn immediately, I think that also changes a lot of the math because then
Yes,
I
it
don't have to
does.
worry about getting bulk ups to kill you. Like, or conversely, if I just get the Iron Head flinch once or twice, then a
Right.
lot of that stuff changes. It
And
goes
the
just different. It just
and
didn't
the
work out
burn
that way.
makes you and not just makes you have to bulk up more. It also makes you have to roost more because you're burning more damage. It's negating your leftovers.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I probably could have switched into Nido Queen a little sooner. Maybe I don't know. Maybe yeah, it would have changed the game tremendous because yeah, you wouldn't have needed to keep bulking up extra or roosting more times. I probably wouldn't have been able to get a second gravity up.
Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. Because I think at that point, I just take the +2, start iron heading you. If I get a flinch, then that's even better. And then at that point, hopefully, whatever you have left, um, depending on how many turns it would take, the gravity would even be up at that point, and then I can kind of just
Right.
do whatever I want.
I just remembered to send you my paste. I always forget to send my paste. I'm bad about that. So you can look and see if there's anything that maybe surprised you a little bit about what I didn't expect the toxicity to come at all. That was a surprise.
Yeah, I need to look at what your team was. I think that was because I was worried about either Togekiss or definitely the Grimmsnarl. In retrospect, probably should have brought something else because there was like the team that you brought Toxtricity does like nothing to because
Mm-hmm.
half your team is immune to the electric stabs, and then you have Steel and Ghost for Boom Burst, and a lot of obviously the Steel again for poison. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wasn't sure what else to bring honestly because I didn't want to. I was worried about bringing like too many flyers. I almost brought Jugulus. Like that was probably the play, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I thought Glow King would come. I figured if you brought a poison, I figured I did plan on Sneasler, and I thought your second poison would probably be Toxtrix, would be Glow King. Just to have something fat, just have, and then another pivot.
I mean, maybe. The problem is it's just so slow, and like you're packing so many stab earthquakes that like the
Right.
odds of it surviving more than one or two hits, it's basically just fodder for you to either do a lot of damage or potentially even like set up something too.
That's fair.
And you didn't have anything other than like Nidoqueen that was really weak to like Future Sight or Psychic attacks
Right.
that I would benefit from potentially, so it didn't feel relevant to bring.
No, that makes sense. Anything you're surprised by on my end?
I was trying to figure out what item on your treads was because obviously it wasn't booster capsule. I'm like, what is this? So
Yes.
yeah, I was curious about the assault vest.
Yeah, AV with 4 SPDEF lives specs Earth Power from an Amorous. So yeah, max you can do is like
Nice.
99.4%.
Yeah. I mean,
So I was like, because
I
yeah, I
didn't
didn't
bring it,
really
but
know what
yeah.
to do. I was like, booster speed is okay, but like I can get my own speed boost with rapid spin. So I was like,
Right.
maybe. But like I didn't really expect you to bring hazards, but rapid spin is such a great utility move on a sweeper like Iron Treads. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm bummed. I'm bummed that Garchomp didn't get to see the field at all the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, you just didn't really. That was I was worried about him too. Like Garchomp's always a scary Pokemon, especially when half my team is weak to Earthquake, and it's like speed tier
Yeah.
kind of bypasses a lot of what I have.
Hmm.
But it just didn't really matter.
Yeah, that is just I didn't really feel comfortable bringing it in until Enamorus was dealt with because like I what do I because like whatever I was thinking a long time about bringing something on the Landorus. I think it was whenever I brought Grimmsnarl in. I was like, what do I bring in here? I was like, I guess I could go. I guess I could go Garchomp. Maybe I definitely live a hit. But like, if I go for Scale Shot, he just brings in the Enamorus. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm just kind of in a bad spot.
Yeah,
So, but but yeah, it was yeah, that was this prep really was really tough. I thought your team scared the crap out of me, honestly, because like half your team is weak to is half your team is immune to one of my stabs. And like
right. And
I
the other
prepped
half is weak.
really hard
That's
for
the problem.
Enamorus and Corviknight.
Yeah,
Like because Enamorus,
that's that part of the problem too. Yeah, like it's nice having the immunity, but like if you take down the Corviknight in the way you did, and then basically it's just enamorous, and then you're everything you have just rolls over everything that I have. So there's not a whole lot I can do in the meantime.
I'm really bummed that you didn't bring U-turn on Corviknight because my original plan for Palisand was infestation, was gravity infestation. But I was like, no,
Doesn't
surely.
U-turn bypass?
Beg your pardon?
Oh, but you didn't bring that. You didn't. Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't bring it. Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it. Because I was like, well, surely he brings U-turn. I was like, I was talking to who was I talking to about it? Because I was like, because if he brings like bulk up roost, I was like, he could maybe not bring it. Like bulk up roost, like Brave Bird body press or Brave Bird and bulk or Brave Bird and Iron Head. I was like, I could maybe see him not bringing it. I was like, surely he brings it though. I was like, U-turn, like pivoting is so good against my team. Maybe I'm like, I was like, I don't know. Corviknight's one of those mons that can suffer from 4 move slot syndrome so bad because it's got so many good moves. So I was like,
Yeah.
but like I ended up not bringing it. But I now that you say something about resisting, Steel might bypass it too. Now that I think about it, I don't remember.
I don't think it cares
Yeah, it might
about
have.
the infestation.
But
It's
but
more
that
of
was my
like I
original
don't
plan.
remember.
That was the original plan was gravity infestation and then just uh scorching sands. But like
Yeah.
you don't have U-turns like that. That bums me out that I didn't get to run that tech. That was like the original tech, and it was gonna be really fire. But I
Yeah.
felt gravity
I
enough
mean,
was fire on
ultimately,
him. Gravity was fire enough on its
yeah,
own.
you got the burn early enough that it didn't even matter anyway. It's sort of like, it's hard to rely on that kind of stuff, but it's basically
No,
like if you get the burn, you don't need it. If you don't get the burn, then you might just be dead anyway. I don't know that infestation is a good bring necessarily there
oh, I mean
because
the idea
eventually,
was the idea for Palisand was to beat Corviknight. Like that was the whole
right?
idea for
Yeah,
Palisand was beat Corviknight. That was like gravity was like the one thing I had that could like really touch Corviknight at all. I mean, yeah, if I
yeah, that was
if when
clever.
you if when you killed Palisand Corviknight was low enough, I could come in and kill with Flamethrower on Nidoqueen. But you still had to
Right.
be fairly
Yeah.
low with your spread of max SPDEF, max HP.
Yeah.
Like you still would have had to
Yeah.
be
I mean, I
pretty
basically
close.
went full bulk up spread, so max special defense, and then used bulk up for the other half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were. I prepared pretty hard for Corviknight because like yeah, Corviknight scared the shit out of me. Because like
Yeah,
I don't know
and
about you.
that's part of, I mean, like I like this format's cool, but that's part of the
Mm-hmm.
problem that I've been seeing. It doesn't help the last 3 weeks that as flying poison, I faced ground, electric, and steel, which is like three types that very
That's not
heavily
ideal.
match up well into me. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is cool stuff, but like I just lose on the team building screen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
The
that can be
earlier games
frustrating.
were good. It was more neutral stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, what do I do against all this stuff when everything you have can hit me super effectively? Or I have like one or two answers, and then you just kind of over prepare for those two, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm just left with nothing much that can do anything really against the other half of your team.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was at with Caden with my loss this season. I was like, Goldengo plus Iron Bundle just beats my literally entire team. I don't do anything. Like
Right. Yeah.
I just gotta hope he plays really bad or just doesn't bring one of them. Otherwise, I kind of just lose. And I came up with a pretty fire set for Iron Valiant that week, and he still beat me because Bundle's just naturally so bulky, which is crazy to me.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is what it is. That's yeah. I kind of agree with you. Like in prep, you kind of see like okay, you can kind of see the downsides of this kind of format. It makes me really happy we went with dual type too instead of just monotype because like monotype you can't cover your weaknesses with monotype. It's a lot harder. With dual type, you can kind of cover your weaknesses. Like it was really important for you
Yeah.
to grab either Skarmory or Corviknight
Right. Yeah.
and
It's
like
sort. I mean,
Landorus
it's an
and one of the
interesting.
Landorus forms was really good for you. So, but
Oh yeah, that was during draft. T for you and I both were like Landers for me was really obvious as a flying type
right.
answer, but he decided to pick Gliscor for whatever reason. But yeah, both of us were kind of looking at those kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. But do you
It's
have?
interesting
Go
too.
ahead.
Like the dual type does help cover some weaknesses, but at the same time, like everybody's dual type, so now you're facing
Right.
twice as many people that may have answers to your type. So I don't know. It depends. Honestly, I think it depends on the type because like poison as a type in monotype is like only weak to two things, so
Right.
it's not horrible to cover your weaknesses. But there's a lot of types that are not necessarily like that.
No, absolutely. And I think you get like the better types, the quote unquote better types, which I think this kind of
Oh yeah,
season. I mean, you're seeing like T4U has quote unquote like just like me, quote unquote the best type, but like he obviously his season isn't going the way we would have thought with Fairy, whereas mine is. I mean, he's also got a good type to pair with it in fair and flying. Flying is a now granted I don't know how the hell everyone let me get ground to go with Fairy. I don't know how the hell that happened, but
yeah.
flying
It's
isn't
funny because
exactly a
like the thing.
bad type.
No. Well, I was able to get it because I had the third pick in the following round. Although it went way late in round one, which
Yeah,
was
you got it
surprising. It
with the
went all the
wheel.
way to the end.
Yeah, T4 you got it with the wheel. I didn't. There was some
Yeah.
crazy picks in the type draft. I
Yeah. It's interesting because like what I'm seeing, and obviously we're still not finished with the season yet, but
right.
early on, it seems like the people who just had the first picks of their first type are doing better overall in the second half because they can kind of like adjust. They get the good types early and can kind of cover their weaknesses with the other type potentially.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I haven't looked lately, but like you, Kappa, Leon, Chrono. I think Chronos is a little lower, but like definitely the first three. I think all of you are like 5-1 at this point, and I think Lollipop and Mr. Z are also up there as well.
yeah, I'll play him next week. God, it's gonna be a pain. Dragon Steel, I think is his team.
Yeah,
I try not
and
to
I mean
look until
I don't
I'm
know.
done with my
That
previous
was
week.
disgusting.
Some of these teams are gross. I think whoever has Dragon Steel, I think I looked at their team after the draft and I was like, how does anybody beat this team?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I can't
But
believe he got both of them. To be honest.
yeah, I couldn't believe it either. Like Dragon and Steel, like I think if I was making like a tier list of the types, I would have had like Fairy one, Dragon and Steel, probably two and three. Like They're both such a good type,
Probably.
and maybe water. Water maybe has an argument to be up there, but
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Ground potentially,
yeah,
but
ground's really.
ground.
Like I said, I can't believe it fell back to me at the last pick of the second round. Like really? Like
Yeah.
you're letting me have ground? Okay, I'm not gonna say no. But but all right. You have anything else for me? Anything else you saw that maybe surprised you? Maybe.
I think so. I think the pro again, my main issue is that I like didn't play to my Sneasler out that I
Mhm.
potentially had. If I just, I think that one decision, a Burns and all that aside, crits aside, like not playing to the Sneasler out, I think really kind of like screwed me over. And if I just had remembered it, oh yeah, that's why I did that. I at least could have put up a fight instead of just gotten, you know, housed.
Yeah, but at least it happened in the regular season. Better now than in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. And that's kind of something we've seen both. It's happened to me and it's happened to a bunch of people that the people who don't basically like if you do incredibly well during the regular season, there's this sort of like your team hasn't been challenged enough that by the time you get to the playoffs, your weaknesses are not as apparent to you specifically
Right.
that it is to like some of your opponents.
And I think
Because
I
we've
think
had like
anytime there's a rematch in draft, I think it favors the person who lost the first round the first time because it
yeah,
shows you
yeah.
what
I
didn't
mean,
work on your team better.
right, exactly. If you've needed to make changes or whatever
Hmm.
too, potentially doing some trades and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it would be so much easier. Like if we played again in the playoffs, it'd be so much easier for me to just be like, okay, this worked, obviously. So I'm just gonna bring the same thing. I mean, granted,
Right.
might
Yeah.
make a tweak here, like a move here, a move there, but it's really easy to just be like, hey, I'm just gonna do that. But you can fall into that
It
trap.
is. Yeah, definitely. Well, if we do fight again, I'm almost certainly not bringing toxicity, so look out for that.
I will. But all right, everybody, that is going to do it for us today. Thank you for watching. If you watched this long, I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and stick around for more PWO draft content. And we will catch you in the next one. Peace out.